Tuesday is the day the Senate will force a vote on the For the People Act. With nearly all Republicans and even some Democrats signaling they'll vote against it, it'll be a tough sell. So if Manchin's compromise doesn't get Democrats over the line on voting rights, it could be make or break for the filibuster. On infrastructure, Senator Rob Portman said today Republicans are, quote, absolutely committed to a bipartisan deal.
There's a lot of interest in having a bipartisan proposal. This helps President Biden keep that pledge of having an infrastructure package, but also to keep his pledge of doing things across the aisle and getting something done.
But whether they are serious or just running out the clock remains to be seen. Joining me now to discuss, Grace Panetta, senior politics reporter at Business Insider, and Olivia Beavers, Politico congressional reporter and author of the Huddle newsletter. Welcome to you both. Grace, Senate Majority Leader Schumer is planning to force a vote Tuesday on the For the People Act. What do you think the strategy is here, and what are they hoping to achieve by forcing this vote, and will it be effective?
Yeah, so effectively the For the People Act, because it has no Republican support, is not going to ultimately be passed. It will almost certainly be filibustered. But from Schumer's standpoint, he's essentially trying to get every member of both his own caucus and every Republican on the record about where they stand on this huge democracy reform and voting rights bill. Sort of the strategy that Harry Reid previously deployed to get, members of his caucus on the record and, demonstrate to them, some of the importance of these issues in the hopes that it will make some of them move, potentially change their positions on the filibuster. That, it's probably very unlikely to budge people like Manchin and Sinema, who are staunchly opposed to nuking the filibuster. But, Democrats have made this voting rights push so central to their message that it's really sort of a test of making everyone state where they stand.
Yeah, it's an interesting opportunity for the Democrats. Some would say, why didn't we do this earlier? But, we'll see. Olivia, take a listen to what Senator Rob Portman said earlier to my colleague Chuck Todd about the Manchin compromise.
I appreciate what Joe Manchin is doing here. He's trying to find some middle ground. Unfortunately, what he does is what the larger bill S1 does, which is it takes the election system in this country and federalizes it. So it's a federal takeover of our election system.
So this seems to be the main emerging Republican argument. They're against anything done on the federal level. And we heard the same thing this week from Mitch McConnell. With such a fundamental disagreement, how can Democrats hope to get a bipartisan voting bill done?
I think Democrats are really starting to realize that they aren't going to get any Republicans to come on board with them. We've been seeing this unfold for months. We're seeing it happen at the state and local levels where voting rights are changing. And despite the push for more urgency, when Manchin rolled out his dozen changes that he would like to make to the election reforms bill, McConnell came out and said, we're not on board. And so if you can't even really get those talks started, as we're seeing again and again, in various different other areas of legislation, then, well, that's why Schumer is now pivoting to be getting people to put their names on the record and at least signal out to voters that they are trying to change the election reforms, even if it doesn't have a pathway forward.
So, Grace, that begs the question, how far away are we from a point where Democrats just have to really begin to take seriously the idea of changes to the filibuster?
Yeah, this debate about the filibuster has been ongoing really since the beginning of the Biden administration. They just have such little room for error, Senate Democrats do. And, the thing is, it's just, hard to see a pathway. Manchin and Sinema have said consistently over the past several months that they are opposed to getting rid of the filibuster, have not, committed, for example, to making a voting rights exception to it. Manchin has previously signaled he would be open to some reforms in the past. But that's the problem with, a 50-50 Senate. It really comes down to the ideas of one or two people. And if they're not willing to budge, it's hard to see sort of any pathway forward. And it's not clear how this voting bill would move them either.
And Olivia, the New York Times details this weekend how Republican states are expanding their power over elections in many states. Can you talk about what they're doing and what the overall strategy is here?
Republicans are trying to limit the days in which voters can go to the polls. They're trying to make it like there are less locations for voters to turn out. I mean, it depends on certain areas, so it's a kind of different across the board, but there's some rules trying to change being able to bring water or shuttle voters over to polls. And so Democrats were saying that these changes are meant to suppress the vote, and that's what they were trying to change with the SR1. But with Republicans, it seems to be a broad overall change that was largely influenced by former President Donald Trump, who made issues about elections a key center during 2020, and it's something that Republicans have been beating the drums to heading into this year and into the next midterms. So the changes that we're seeing are largely a huge influence of Donald Trump, and it's something that we're probably going to keep seeing pick up steam.
So very quickly, Grace, in a little bit of time we have left, you had Senator Bernie Sanders saying earlier today, that he would not back a gas tax on electric vehicles fees or electric vehicle fees to fund the infrastructure deal. What are some of the other non-starters for progressives when it comes to infrastructure if they're putting these obstacles out there?
Yeah, it's interesting with these infrastructure talks. It's like a seesaw. Whatever, changes you propose that moderates like, progressives are going to raise an issue with it. And so the main tension right now is, a partisan deal at this point is looking more likely to just feature really what we think of as traditional infrastructure like roads, bridges, broadband, maybe some energy-related stuff. But progressives really are clamoring for a bill that includes stuff around the climate crisis and also, home care services, child care, other kinds of what they call human infrastructure. And if those can't be reconciled, it's hard to see how you could form sort of a bipartisan deal. And a lot of, especially on climate, people like Ed Markey, all of them are saying that climate is absolutely necessary.
Grace and Olivia, I thank you both for being a part of the conversation tonight. Next, race in America, and Republicans letting us know exactly where they stand. The backlash against Juneteenth, the right's newest boogeyman. Plus, we've seen a few surprises from the Supreme Court this session. What that might mean for the rulings we expect to see this week, especially a big one on voting rights.